The challenge was met.
Do you have what it takes to beat me in Smash?
The rules were set.
Go against me on a one-on-one. If you win, you get a free dental cleaning.
They tried.
Oh no! Oh,
And they failed.
No! Excellent job.
But the prophecy never foretold
You have to tell the whole world that you lost to a dentist.
of a rematch.
Now we're going to get into She-Hulk because we have a lot of podcasts
Yes.
to do. And even though we were starting early today,
The Shulk.
we did technically start late. Yes, this is our podcast all about Shulk, our favorite Smash Brothers character. Chris and I both speed ran Xenoblade Chronicles 1 over the weekend. How did you enjoy your time speedrunning Xenoblade Chronicles, the game that Shulk is from?
Anyways, so She-Hulk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cinematic Relief. I'm Thunder.
And I am Lightning.
And today we're going to talk about She-Hulk Season 1. But first, are there any honorable mentions?
Yes, there is an honorable mention.
He asked knowing that there's like a super huge one.
Well, okay, I'm curious if we're thinking of the same one. There is an honorable mention. That honorable mention is Werewolf at Midnight?
Werewolf by Night.
By night. Werewolf by Night.
Yes.
So, okay, I do want to talk about this for a second. There's only one character I knew in that whole thing, but I have a guess as to another one. I only knew Swamp Thing, a.k.a. Ted. Man-Thing, damn it.
Swamp Thing
I didn't know him. I guess I did not know.
Swamp Thing is the DC one.
Okay. So not my fault. That's them copying each other.
Yes, and I did look it up. Man-Thing came out first, but I wouldn't call Swamp Thing a ripoff.
Okay.
Swamp Thing was sort of meant to capitalize on, like, monster movies.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the monster movies that Werewolf by Night is, like, paying homage to. And Man-Thing, I know less about.
Okay.
The end.
He seems very OP, which is cool. It was just really cool. I didn't know that this was happening. This one slipped past me.
Oh yeah, they showed a trailer at D23, and they were basically just like, the vibe of it was basically them just being like, hey, no big deal, but we did this cool thing. It'll be out soon.
Is the main woman Jessica Jones?
No, the main woman.
The actresses look similar. I couldn't tell if it was the same actress.
No, it wasn't. The main character is Elsa Bloodstone, who I didn't recognize by name, but once I saw pictures of her from the comics, I was like, oh, that was her the whole time. I remember her from this and this. But yeah, apparently Werewolf by Night is like an old comic. Apparently, Werewolf by Night is associated with a lot of like the more mystical side of Marvel, like Doctor Strange and Agatha and all them. But also, apparently, Moon Knight is from Werewolf by Night. The first appearance of Moon Knight is in an issue of Werewolf by Night.
I was getting Moon... Oh, it's funny, too. That's what they recommended for me afterwards.
Yeah, that was probably intentional.
Yeah. He definitely would have fit in there.
Yeah.
At least aesthetically.
Yeah, like we said, this podcast is about She-Hulk, so I don't want to talk about it
for
too long. But, like, my God, was it good.
Yeah. I knew, and what was really cool, I don't know if Marvel just figured it out halfway through making these, like, specials and TV shows, but I'm more excited about this than I was Moon Knight, the TV show I had to sit through, the show that gave me more content than this did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just Marvel's like going back up for me. It definitely dipped.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that later when we talk about She-Hulk. Because I have things to say about that. But yeah, I really liked this. I liked that I appreciated, and I'm sure you also think this, I appreciated how much of it was practical.
Yeah.
There was like barely any CG in this. Like when he was turning into the wolf, I was just like, is it gonna be practical? And then he was.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very cool. Man Thing, obviously his face is CG, but like only sometimes. Like I saw a giant like a lot of Man Thing they made
Oh, wow.
like, thing of that they just like attached CGI to later.
That's cool.
Which I was like, well, good job, but obviously Man Thing's full CGI. Seemingly not though.
That's crazy.
Which is cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I liked that it was unclear if Dead Dude was actually an animatronic that he made, or if that was just how they chose to. The guy who was like set up all the rules.
Oh, yes, yeah. It really felt like they just took his corpse and made it into
Yeah,
carnival
like,
thing.
Those were his wishes to do that.
Yeah,
'cause he's
yeah.
a fucking weirdo. Also, something I noticed that I was like, oh, that's a neat little detail, and then I looked up why they did it, and I was like, oh, that's even cooler. You know that little like oval that like happens in the top corner of the screen on old movies sometimes?
Yes.
They did that in this movie, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like an homage to like the way that
They're
film...
called burn marks, I believe.
Yes, and they're actually, I found out that in the original movies
They're
that
to know
did
to
these,
change the reels.
Yeah, they're done intentionally so that the I forget the name, but the person
operator.
Yeah, the operator knows to change the reels. But there's exactly 3 of them in Werewolf by Night, and it's meant to separate the movie
acts?
into acts.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It was very cool. And I really hope that somebody, I think it was Kevin Feige, said that Werewolf by Night is going to be important for the MCU. And it was unclear if he meant like plot-wise or like...
Well, this really felt like the first, because they've been trying different genres.
Yeah.
This was the first one that I was like, oh, you said it, you
Yeah.
had a mission and you did it.
Yeah.
Everything else just kind of felt like weird Marvel superhero movie or show or whatever.
Right.
But this was the first time I was like, ooh, this feels like horror first, hero second.
Except I do want to, except Shang-Chi, I do want to say I
yeah,
feel
it was
like,
the action,
Yeah.
kung
Martial
fu,
arts
karate.
movie,
That's
yeah.
the best word for it. Martial arts movie, yeah.
But no, I agree. This was really cool. Apparently Michael Giacchino, who's probably better known for writing music for movies, did the score for Endgame. He directed this.
Oh, that's cool.
And apparently they just let him do whatever he wanted. I forget who, but there was one character that they were like, we were toying around with putting this character in it because he's from this and this would fit, but we decided to completely detach this from the rest of the MCU, which I think is really was a good idea.
Yeah.
Because knowing that going in, it made for like a better viewing experience, I think, because I wasn't like, sometimes when I watch shows like She-Hulk and Loki and all them, I'm like sitting, a small part of me is sitting there like, is there going to be a cameo? How many cameos are there going to be? But that kind of like wasn't there. I was just like enjoying what I was seeing.
Seldomly do I agree with that sentiment of, not having it connect to the MCU makes for a better experience, but I do agree in this instance.
Yes.
However, I think like a show like Moon Knight could have utilized some cameos to kind of bring us back into the universe.
Yes, of course.
This, for whatever reason, I couldn't tell you. Somebody who knows more about films could probably tell you, but this really felt like it didn't need that. Even though it was a horror first, hero second style show, I felt like I'm in the universe of the MCU still. And I can't really pinpoint why that works for that, but Moon Knight, I'm just in left field.
It's got to come down to the fact that Moon Knight was straight up boring.
Yeah, maybe.
And Werewolf by Night was really fascinating. I am going to make a prediction.
Sure.
And then I'd like to move on if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, fine.
Unless there was another honorable
mention.
mention.
I think we both had the same idea that that was the big honorable mention.
I would be really surprised if Elsa Bloodstone didn't make an appearance in the Agatha TV show.
Oh, I like that. Sure.
I think that would if not at least like a mention of the Bloodstone or
Yeah.
the Bloodstone family tree or whatever, you know. So I just feel like they're so like it's right there to like. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying like please do it, I need it. I'm just saying like I think it might happen.
Oh, sure. No, you're seeing the connections. You're making the. I get
Yeah.
that. Sure thing.
Okay. She-Hulk.
Yes.
Season 1. Um. How do
How do we begin?
we begin?
I guess let's rate it on the scale of the original Marvel TV shows that were announced. This was the last one, and I would like to say off of that, you and I had been talking about. We haven't mentioned it in a while, but once She-Hulk finished, we were going to make a video essay ranking our favorite of the original Marvel TV shows.
Okay.
So don't give us your, let's save it for that video if we still want to do it.
Okay.
But tell us where it lands. Tell us where She-Hulk lands. People came to this specific podcast. Let's tell them where that one will go.
I think She-Hulk ranks very highly. If you listen to the things I've said about Marvel TV in the past, it's no secret that I really, really disliked Moon Knight and Miss Marvel, and
Yep.
I really, really enjoyed WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And She-Hulk is definitely up there with those two. I think I still need some time before I'm like to decide whether She-Hulk is the best one, because I don't think it is. I think I still like Falcon and the Winter Soldier a little more.
Okay.
And it really just comes down to one big, huge reason. But I really liked it. What about you? Where do you?
So, I'm not even gonna give the other ones that are surrounding my favorites.
Okay.
And the eagle eye viewers of Thunder and Lightning Gaming will probably know where my stats are right now for all these. But I'm going to say it is my favorite of all of them.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. All of these TV shows, whether it's a character we knew or a new character, they're all kind of origin stories or origin stories of the next arc of the character. You got Falcon turning into Captain America.
Right.
You've
Wanda
got Scarlet
turning into
Wanda
Scarlet
turning
Witch.
into Scarlet Witch. Right. That's how you should put that. Absolutely.
Spoilers, I guess, but
Well,
It's
it's been
been a
out long
while.
enough. Hawkeye kind of getting into his old age, Hawkeye, or
But-
maybe even just passing the torch. I think that's
right.
still
Origin
blurry.
story for
Or origin
Kate.
story for Kate. Right, exactly. What am I? Loki obviously going into a new arc of being like dead, but also in every multiverse.
Right.
That's a whole other. So my point is, everybody's this is reinventing or introducing to a new character across all of it.
Yeah.
I think She-Hulk, out of every character we've been introduced to, is the one that I care about the most coming out of all these TV shows.
Yeah.
They really made me care about this character. They really got me into her social life. They got me into her work life. They got me into her superhero life. And I'm just like, wow, this is a Marvel TV show.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted this entire time. I've been waiting for like a year and a half now to get this TV show of like, here's a Marvel character. Also, here's what the universe looks like right now. Superheroes are just a thing. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. There was, to that point, Nando V Movies pointed this out, and I was like, you're right. They just sort of, there's an episode all about a light elf, the light elf that turns into
Yep.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
They've never shown or talked about light elves in the MCU before,
Mm-hmm.
but like, we're not idiots. They're just like, this is a light elf, and then they show a human with weird ears and wears all white, and
Yep.
and we're just like, yeah, sure,
Mhm.
light elves.
No, that's the thing. They really smoothly introduced the concept of, listen, there's not like 12 heroes anymore. There's probably like at least
Right.
1,000 known ones
And
out there.
also, I liked the whole like, and some of them suck. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like the dude, the
It's
the
getting
immortal,
very, I didn't do this on purpose. It's getting very, for those who know, My Hero-y. It's like, it's like having powers is just a thing. Not everybody has them,
Right.
but if you do, some are better than others. Some are just
Right.
there's no purpose to them.
And I want to showcase Immortal Man, which is the name of that superhero.
Yes.
Because he is the perfect example of someone who just happens to have powers. I think he said he was an alien or something like that, but he's not a hero.
Mhm.
He's also not a villain. He's just sort of a scumbag.
Oh, he kind of
who
sucks.
has
Yeah,
super-
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, that's what I'm saying. He's not like Galactus.
Right, right,
But
right.
he's also not Captain America. He's
Right.
just some schmuck who's
taking advantage of his power,
Taking
yeah.
advantage of his powers in like a very real way. I feel like someone
Yeah.
like that would probably exist on Earth.
It's expanding the universe. It's really expanding the
which is
fictional
which
universe
is the
that they're
issue we
making.
had with Moon Knight. Can I just say,
Yes.
did no one else see the sky when Khonshu like rotated the sky back 1,000 years or some shit? Why has no one talked about that? It's pissing me off.
Remind me. I
In
vaguely
Moon Knight,
remember.
they're like the sky map. We need the sky from 1,000 years ago, and he shifts the entire planet. And he's like looking through the sky like it's a Rolodex, and he's just like, "Oh, there it is."
yeah.
Apparently, no one else saw that because they.
Oh wait, the fact that he did it, or was there something in there that was missed?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, in universe,
in
nobody else saw
universe.
that. I see.
No one has
Well, I
talked
feel
about.
like it's almost. See, I took away from that it was kind of like in Harry Potter, their excuse for why people don't see them doing some fucked up magical shit is nobody pays attention to magical shit.
Right.
That's kind of what I took away. Like nobody but them really saw that happening.
Okay.
That's-
I will
yeah.
retaliate with at the end of that show he turns into a giant kaiju and there's a fight between a giant crocodile and a giant skeleton birdman.
But did anybody talk about that?
No,
That's
not
my
yet.
point. That's my point. Is I feel like it's shit. I forget that show.
Yeah, it's bad.
Did they like destroy a town or something?
They destroyed a few pyramids. They were like on the outskirts. Like people saw them for sure in Egypt.
Okay.
Well, they were. Sorry, I don't know if it was magically cloaked like you're talking about, but people were in the proximity where they would have
Okay,
seen them.
thank you. That is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I chalked most of that bullshit up to whatever fictional canon Harry Potter set up that Marvel was yet to acknowledge. I feel like that was kind of because nobody. No,
But
never mind.
see,
That's a bad
thing,
example.
Here's the thing, Chris. Then explain that to me. Like,
Oh,
the
no,
fa-
I hear
like,
ya. I hear
Either have someone on because She-Hulk was the place to do it. She-Hulk's had a reference to like every other thing that's been
Mhm.
happening so far, including but not limited to what happened in the Eternals, which no one's talked about Eternals yet
yeah.
either, which I wasn't too upset about. But because that was but what I'm trying to say is like no one talked about the Moon Knight thing. Therefore, I guess I'm led to believe that no one saw it, but I would have liked a hard confirmation. All I
Right.
needed was Khonshu. Like, I feel like it'd be really in character for not Mark, the one that
Steve.
Steve, for Steve to be like, people are gonna see this, and Khonshu to be like, no, they won't, because
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
it. But
No, I hear you. I hear
yeah.
you. But let's not waste our breath on the
I
lesser
know. Yeah.
Marvel TV shows.
Yeah.
We're talking about She-Hulk.
I've been waiting specifically for this podcast to ask you this.
Yeah.
I want to know your opinion on Madison.
Oh, okay. Oh, medicine. I actually had something I was going to bring up in the news, but I should bring up here. It's more important. The director of She-Hulk wants Madison to get her own movie.
Whoa.
And I was like, let's back it up.
yeah.
Cool character. I really liked Madison. I didn't think I was going to, and then they like kept. It was almost one of those things where like it's not funny anymore, and then you did it enough where it's like, all right,
Yeah.
it's funny again. I liked Madison a lot. Does she? No, she shouldn't get her own movie. Should she show up in other stuff? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
It's like that meme that who's it, Drake, where it's like
yeah.
But then it's like
Yeah,
that's
that is
kind of
Drake.
where I feel like movie. I don't want to watch the Madison movie. Just have her show up as a secondary character and stuff. Sure, I'd love that
yeah, just like
because she's friends with
Wong.
Wong now.
Who
Yeah,
has been in literally everything.
so there's a good potential. Maybe they'll start dating.
I don't know.
No, they gave off friend vibes, right? They're not really dating vibes. Like they hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I just love how she got banished to like the nether realm essentially, and she like
Yeah.
like Karen'd her way through it and was like, it was gross there, and it was just like fine, like came out unscathed.
No, she was the best secondary character, I think. I really liked, this has yet to happen with pretty much any Marvel character. I really liked everybody in She-Hulk's friend group.
Yes, yeah. Nikki was cool. I feel like there's something we don't know about her. I'm getting.
She's got some connections that don't really make sense.
Yeah, she's giving off like season 2. She's gonna be like, and I was a witch the whole time or something. And I also really like Pug. Pug, the actor who plays Pug, played the best villain on the best season of Arrow. He was like the most ruthless, cutthroat, like no bullshit, like I fucking hate you, Arrow, and I'm gonna kill you. And he was scary. And then he cut over to this, and he's playing like
the friend.
He's playing like the feminist friend who's like very chill and like was the main character of a C plot here and there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this actor can do it all. He can do the entire spectrum of acting, as far as I'm concerned.
The like misogynistic characters,
Yes.
which I'll pull because there's a good amount of them.
Yeah.
They were like, how do I put this? Like in a social context, like I feel like the writers and the director did a good job, like opening that conversation a bit more. Like, not every guy sucks,
Right.
but like some of them just have some weird concepts that don't make sense.
I'm so impressed that the writers of
they
this
could have
show
made every guy an asshole, but that's not reality.
That's right. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing about this show. I feel like their whole point is like the MCU's not all crazy Eternals, Inhumans.
Yeah.
You know, Doctor Strange.
It brought it to it did what Spider-Man did
grounded
again. It just brought it back down.
I
to,
think it brought it down further,
Yes,
which is pretty
yes.
cool. I think that I like the like matter of factness of She-Hulk. It's an interesting case study. As much as I loved WandaVision, it's almost like with WandaVision, they said, we want to make a love letter to sitcoms first, and then we want to progress the MCU forward.
Yeah.
And it seems like with She-Hulk, they basically were like, we wanna progress the MCU forward. We want to do it in the format of a modern day sitcom, which is what She-Hulk is.
I did not get sitcom vibes from She-Hulk, but you're right. When it came to her social life and stuff like that, what else are you going to categorize it as?
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, what was I going to say? I don't remember exactly what I was going to say. We were talking about Pug. Yeah,
unless it comes, is that okay?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Abomination.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I love what they did to his character, and I was worried in the finale. I was like, no, don't make him a bad guy again.
Right.
He doesn't have to be a good guy.
Right.
But like, he had such a moving arc. This whole like, he's like, I kind of suck, but like, I've been cool. I'm in the gray area. Like, sometimes I'll break the law, but like, this guy made me do it.
Right.
But then at the end, it was like, I was so worried he was gonna be like, and I'm part of the what were they called? The intelligentsia.
Oh yeah.
I was so worried he was gonna be like, but then She-Hulk shows up and he's like, no, they paid me. He's like, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah, as soon as he showed before the
weird stuff,
which
we'll get into.
We'll talk about. When he showed up, my dad was also like, no, this guy was cool, and I was sitting there like, I don't think he knows what he's. I think he's being tricked or whatever.
Yeah, well, not even tricked. He was just like, I do seminars.
Right. He was hired as an emotional speaker.
Yeah.
Regardless of.
He was just doing his thing. And then when she popped in, I was like, no, now he's going to be like, I used you. But he was like, oh, hey.
Right, yeah.
I'm so, there was like love put into this. And I appreciate it. They took a character that nobody gave a shit about. And like, I want to see Abomination come back.
Apparently, me too. And I think he will, based on the end credit scene of the last episode.
And it's funny, too, because this isn't even the most modern thing that the Abomination has come back for. He was in Shang-Chi, but I didn't give a shit about Abomination in Shang-Chi. I do now, though.
Right, yeah, see, it almost makes that scene in Shang-Chi better, because when you're watching Shang-Chi and you see the Abomination, you're like, that's neat.
It's a callback.
I don't know why you did that, but it's cool. You made him look the way he's supposed to look. He doesn't look all shitty like he did in the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie. This is fine. But now, like, I don't know.
He's a character now.
Now it recontextualized that whole scene for sure. Which it was always going to. It was eventually gonna, like, if Wong opened a portal and was like, now we're going off to do our thing, and it never paid off, that'd be dumb.
Right. Oh yeah, right. He actually they did give him kind of a cliffhanger. He is gonna. I forgot about that. He is gonna, hopefully show up again.
Yeah, no, I mean in Shang-Chi, when at the end of the scene in Shang-Chi,
he brings him back through the portal.
When you have the follow-up scene where they're like buddies for real, and then they just walk off. If his character, if that was just a weird cameo,
stupid, yeah.
it would have been kind of dumb.
Your statement works for the end of She-Hulk as well,
yeah.
too, which obviously wasn't your intent, but that happens again.
Right.
Wong opens a portal, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no confirmation for a Doctor Strange 3 right now, but like if it happens, it might be a all-star cast.
That'd be crazy.
Because we got America Chavez and Abomination.
Yeah. And Wong.
And Wong, obviously. Yeah.
I do love, like, because using Abomination as, like, the catalyst for the She-Hulk show, because he really was, like, the main thing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, his case is kind of like the A-plot for like episodes 2 through 4.
Yeah, and I love how now you got to explain what was he doing with Wong, and I love that the explanation is like Wong was like, I just used him for XP.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. That was the funniest joke in the whole show when they were like, well, Wong, you broke a prisoner out of jail, and he was like, I must depart. And then he just walked through the portal. That was the funniest joke in the whole show.
Yeah, Wong killed it. There were a couple of other Wong moments, too, where he was... I just love it's not even obliviousness, because that's the wrong word.
Right.
The word is he just doesn't give a shit.
Right.
He is just he just transcends the American legal system so much. He's like, I don't need, if I didn't want to be here right this second, I won't be.
Right.
Like, I don't need to do this.
He literally, like...
And he goes to her when he's like, he broke a rule, and she's like, and he's like, no, but this is more important.
Yeah. I need real legal help, but just know that my shit is more pressing than whatever nonsense you were doing. I remember what I was gonna say. I'm very impressed that the writers of this show were able to accurately predict the real life internet response to this TV show and put it into their TV show.
Oh, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying is there was a lot put into this. Christ, if there was any show, I hope they were real. If there was any show where they were like, let's get the writers on screen. Didn't they kick ass? Referring to the finale.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be this show. Like, you guys did it. You did it. They set forth, we are going to make a Marvel TV show a year and a half, 2 years ago, and She-Hulk, the capstone show, was like, and we did it. And here's your Marvel show.
Yeah.
I get that they've been doing weird stuff intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, right? They were smart about it. They're into Phase 4?
Black Panther Wakanda Forever will be the end of Phase 4.
Right, so we're in Phase 4. At this stage, they've been doing this for 15 years now.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah,
time to start
14 years.
And they they're in the we can't fail phase, or they're kind of beyond that. They're more than established at this point.
Right.
Time to start getting weird and see what sticks. She-Hulk stuck. Is She-Hulk kind of more of the same of what we hope out of Marvel? Yes, but they got some other, like, obviously, the Scarlet Witch show. people were into. People are into that storyline, if nothing else. If not the setup of the show, people are into that storyline. People are into, people I think like Miss Marvel. Not my thing. I think
People
liked it.
fucking love Moon Knight for some reason.
Yeah, that
I
show
can't-
sucked.
I can't understand that. You and I remember watching that and calling you and being like, it still sucks, right? And you were like, yeah, it still sucks. And then I go on the internet and everyone was like, best show ever. It was
Yeah.
so good.
And it's funny because people definitely started She-Hulk off by shitting on it. It's undeniably. I was seeing the internet's response with that finale. They were like, well, they did it. It fucking kicked ass. As much as you wanted to hate it, this season kicked ass, and we can't bitch about it.
I am going to bitch about it, though, because I really didn't like the finale. I thought it was pretty bad.
Okay. All right, let's get into the finale talk. I didn't hate the finale. I thought it took some weird turns. I thought it was a lot of bold choices. And here's I was ready to hate it when it got into that whole we're going to completely tear down the fourth wall. Here I come into the
real world.
the Animaniac style, like I'm just on the lot.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
When they got to Kevin, which
Yeah.
I did love that joke all the way through because I was like, here he comes. I don't know
Yeah.
why they're doing this, but here he comes.
The joke hits harder if you're watching with subtitles. 'Cause
Yes,
yeah.
I did. I forget what it was, but it was.
They call him Kevin, but it's acronymed, and you're like, what?
Oh, I didn't then. There was something I watched. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But she gets to Kevin, and like it was a bit of a journey getting to him.
Mm-hmm.
But she's doing this, and she's like rewriting her finale,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, well this is dumb because then now we just have a continuous loop of she can do this whenever she wants, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin was like, by the way, we fixed the issue. Fuck you. You're not doing this again. That made me okay with that part of it. I was really hating the finale they were setting up until that, though. Like, I didn't want the Hulk and Abomination in a fight again and whatever other bullshit happened. But I do wish they actually gave us an ending, because that's the issue I have, and I think that you have, is she, like, fixes all this stuff, and then we get back to it, and in a very Wayne's World 2 style, it's just like, whoa, and everything's done, and we'd finished the show.
Right.
And, yeah, I feel like we were kind of screwed out of a conclusive ending. However, without seeing it, they kind of do explain he turned into Abomination. That was bad. He's going back to jail. What's her name? Finally got what she deserved. Titania. So, like, I understand what happened. I didn't get to see it. Is that your issue, or am I missing the mark?
No, you're sort of there. So she starts to obliterate the fourth wall,
Yes.
and obviously I'm okay with that because that's what this character does.
Right.
I'm
very excited to see her and Deadpool together.
But yeah. So okay. Yeah.
I mean, not together, but like doing fourth wall shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a lot of things to say.
Yes.
So I don't. Marvel TV shows are notorious for having bad finales.
Yeah.
Everybody is agreeing in this. I think the one show that had a good finale, in my opinion, was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and people seem to have issues with that one as well anyways. But literally, like, the ending of Loki was terrible. The last episode of WandaVision wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
The Moon Knight and Miss Marvel sucked the whole time. So, but it's just like, these writers went out of their way to make a statement, and that statement is, we know that every season has had a bad finale, so we're going to make sure in a really kooky fourth wall breaking way that we don't have a bad finale, and in doing so, in my opinion, they made a bad finale because I did not like it. I thought it went on for way too long and was too much of the episode, which ties back into your whole thing about but the episode sort of just ended off camera and there was like a conclusion, I guess. It like it's complicated to talk about because I have complicated emotions about it. Like there was some things like when he told her to turn back into Jen but do it off camera, because that was very funny and I
Yeah.
liked that a lot. When she was just sort of, it was a fun joke, but I would have preferred an actual finale. It would have felt better.
Yeah. I
I-
think that's
I
kind of where
can-
we're at too.
I'm apt to agree with you. The two things that I'm really bothered about: one, stop talking about X-Men if you're not going to show them.
Yeah.
We have a hard date for when the X-Men are going to come to the MCU, and it's 2 full years from now.
Yeah.
Stop saying X-Men. They referenced the X-Men 3 times in this show, and the last time was her being like, I know, right? X-Men. Anyways. And I was just like, fucking shut up. Like, show an X-Men or don't.
Yeah.
There was 2 Wolverine-specific Easter eggs in this show, and then there was that. Her literally looking at the camera being like, X-Men's coming, I guess. And I was just like, I hate this part. And then my biggest issue is one of continuity. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something.
Okay.
But there's a huge season-long subplot about people trying to get Jennifer Walters' blood. And
Yes.
then in the original version of the finale, they use that blood to turn
Yeah,
it-
what's his name into
whatever
a
who
Hulk.
gives
Yeah.
a shit about him into a Hulk. And then in the actual version of the finale, the canon version, I guess, because she rewrote it. So the real version of the She-Hulk finale, that plotline disappears. There's no conclusion for it.
Well, so you did miss something. Kind of. Here's my explanation to that. I think she did destroy that plot line in the Kevin thing
Mm-hmm.
because she kind of jokes about and pokes fun at the fact that it's kind of a cliche in Marvel now to have a serum or blood or this
Right.
or that turns you into your... So I think that was their way of scrubbing out the clichéness. I'm not saying it's a good idea or not, but I think that is the explanation as to why it's not part of the actual conclusion.
Of course, but now the whole season, like on rewatch, that plotline, it does nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because if she breaks the fourth wall, and now she's in our world, and she rewrites her show, that means that the first half of that finale scene never happened. Which
Mhm.
means in the in-universe canon version of this show, they set up this stealing her blood plot for like 5 or 6 straight episodes, and then it disappears, and there's no conclusion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very interesting choice. I don't like you'd think that these writers that I was just praising a lot for all the things they did, you'd think that they would have had enough foresight to be like, this blood steal plot is like the entire C plot of the whole show, and then in our fourth wall breaking rewrite, it just goes away and it's not important anymore.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. It got kind of blurry in the end why that happened the way it did.
And I think that blurriness is most of the reason why I disliked it.
I think they set up that C plot, right? Because us as viewers were
What happened?
I'm just reading.
Oh no,
Sorry.
yeah, keep going.
They set up that C plot, and it did keep our attention as viewers, and we were like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, what do you do if you get Hulk blood?"
Right.
We get to the conclusion, and I feel like, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh my good God, where was I going with this? I'm so sorry. I don't want to just repeat what we've been saying. I actually had somewhere I was going with that. Remind me what you just were talking about it.
I was talking about
Oh, it didn't matter. Sorry.
how it stopped mattering, yeah.
I think they realized this TV show, in the way that they concluded it, was never going to be allowed to happen again. I feel like they realized they had a really good show, and they wanted to fuck with the ending in a very fourth wall breaking She-Hulk style way. I think they set up a device to make sure that they let us know, okay, we fucked around. We're not going to do that again. Also, yeah, we kind of dangled that blood thing in front of you, but it was never going to matter anyways. Is it shitty? Yes. Was it a good choice? No. But I think that was the point, was they were like, we're going to do some wacky-ass shit in this show with the understanding that we are not going to get the opportunity to do it again. In universe and out of universe. Because I think they realized that if this was the cliche of She-Hulk, which is like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want, and then it's not going to matter, isn't going to work. But let's have it be part of her character. Let's make a really wacky finale where she does some shit that nobody's done, not even Deadpool in the MCU. And but let's pull him in with this blood thing. Like you said, it's a C plot. It's not a big deal.
But it was 2 after the credit scenes. The blood.
Oh,
2
right,
separate
right.
after the credit scenes, and then it, in the new episode that she rewrote, just sort of goes away. And I do want to talk about Deadpool real quick.
Sure.
Because I saw someone who was tweeting about the people like me who didn't like the finale, and the tweet was basically like, you wouldn't have a problem if this was Deadpool. And I gave a lot of thought to that comment, and I would like to formally disagree with that person, because if Deadpool's fourth wall breaking gets so out of hand that he's now breaking continuity, I think I would still get upset about that. I think I would get upset about that.
I would agree with
regardless of character. And I think that, one, it's different if it's a movie or a TV show. I think I might even be a little bit angrier if
it was a
Deadpool
movie.
movie ended like this.
Yep.
And it's just like, I paid like a movie theater ticket, and I sat through all that just so you could and then I would be having the same conversation,
Well, what's interesting is in Deadpool 2, he kind of does break continuity with time travel.
Right, but he does it in a way that doesn't matter. Because he goes back and what is he kills himself before he writes the Wolverine movie or whatever the fuck. But
also the plot line of Deadpool 2 he corrects in doing going back in time.
But he doesn't change anything. He goes back in time, right?
Well, he kills an extra guy who kills his girlfriend, who sets the whole plot up.
Yeah, he goes back in time and he saves his girlfriend, but everything else that happens still
happens.
Happened.
Okay, I'll
know
give
what
you
I
that.
mean?
Yeah. No, I'm on board.
Because that's, and now we're talking about time travel. Because if it's a time travel plot, then it's different. I just feel like if oh my god, what was I gonna say? It was, I don't know. It was just a little much. I agree. I think that this was their way of being like, isn't this crazy? We're not gonna do it again.
Yeah.
But
I hear what you're saying. You watch. It almost felt like a bit of a waste of a season of television, even if they sat there in canon and out of canon were like, we super duper promise we're not going to do this again, but we really wanted to do this. It was still, I hear you. Your thoughts are validated on how that concluded. And I'm just going to read what Mason said. You keep going.
I want to be clear. It didn't ruin an entire season of television for me. I still really, really liked She-Hulk. I think it's still definitely one of my favorite Marvel TV shows, if not my favorite one. I just really did not. I am one of the people who didn't appreciate the ending, and here's why.
Yeah. No, Mason does bring up a good point. I actually forgot about that. In watching it, I thought he was gonna die. The guy who took the blood, because it's not supposed to work for everybody.
Right.
And it's supposed to work in different ways.
Right.
Or it could just kill you because it's gamma radiation.
Right.
That's a really good point. I want to talk about the thing that happened with the Hulk at the end, and I want to talk about Daredevil.
Yes. Oh my God. Those are the two things I wanted to talk about.
But then I think we got to move on because we're already over an hour. I think.
No, we started at a weird time.
We didn't start at 12:15.
Yes, but we have a good 10 minutes.
Okay.
The Hulk.
Oh, no.
The Hulk kid is from the comics. I don't know who the mom is in the comics. It's some rando. I don't know why this kid's like 20 years old already or whatever.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's like 8, but he's a Hulk, so he's fucking huge.
Maybe,
Even,
I
but
don't know.
still, the sizes don't.
That's
quite
well, that's the thing. I did the math. If that's a kid that Hulk had with someone on Sakaar, let's
Yeah.
assume that Hulk lands and immediately fucks someone.
Yes.
That kid is 9 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
no,
know.
No, I hear you.
But cool. I don't know. I never know. We never know what the future of the Hulk looks like because they have that weird deal where they're not allowed to make a Hulk movie. They literally just announced that Thunderbolt Ross is going to be played by Harrison Ford and not William Hurt because William Hurt passed away. So they're replacing that character. The character who was like, you got to sign the Accords. I'm an old man. I'm going to hunt Black Widow. That guy's going to be played by Harrison Ford now.
Oh, my God.
But they didn't announce Thunderbolt Ross recasting for Thunderbolts, the TV show. They're announcing Harrison Ford to play Thunderbolt Ross in the new Captain America movie that's coming out. So, and if you know the comics, Thunderbolt Ross turns into Red Hulk. That's who Red Hulk is.
Yeah.
So there's about to be 4 Hulk characters in the MCU, but they still can't do
A Hulk movie.
a movie where Bruce Banner is the main character.
Right.
So I don't know. Whatever happens next with that, I'm in the dark, but I'm also excited because I like the Hulk. And now there's gonna be 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel like maybe that's a reason why they did such a good. They were like, She-Hulk, you gotta fucking nail it because she's probably going to be the centerpiece, the flagship of the
Right.
Hulk enterprise.
Someone a few years ago sat down and was like, well, we could make a She-Hulk movie. She could be a main character of her own thing. Why don't we do that? It's unconventional, but let's do it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, how though?
Yeah.
And then I feel like they were pretty successful.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're kind of coming to the conclusion that you were like, how are they going to have the Hulks without? I think they just do a kick-ass job with She-Hulk and keep teasing us with Banner until something happens.
I was very surprised that we didn't get an immediate season 2 announcement.
Oh, I know. Well, I think she's going to be. I think the shows that didn't get season 2. I think their next. She's going to be in a show. I mean, I'm sorry, a movie. She's going to be in a movie.
She's got to be right with that.
Oh, yeah.
With that tease from Kevin where he's like, "I'll see you in the movie," and she's like, "Really?" He was like, "No."
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's their.
That would have been really shitty if they like have no plans for her in a movie right now and they made a joke about it.
Because so far, you're right. Wanda had her TV show, and the next thing she did was in a movie. Bad example because she's from Age of Ultron,
right?
And she was in Infinity War and Endgame, but and then Captain America as well is going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They had the show, but as far as we can tell, and Miss Marvel is going to be in the Captain Marvel 2, whatever that's called.
I don't think She-Hulk's going to get her own movie.
No,
I think she's
but
going to show up in a movie.
I bet you. Do we know if Thunderbolts is a movie or a TV show?
Volcanatham, thank you so much for joining.
Hello. We are just wrapping up our discussion on She-Hulk.
Thunderbolts, I think, is going to be a TV show. Is that what you just asked?
Yeah, is it going to be a TV show or a movie?
I think so.
Raid of One.
Oh, yeah. No, hey.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, of
man.
course.
Thank you so
Always.
much.
Always.
What was I saying?
We were talking about the Hulk Enterprise. What's gonna be next for She-Hulk?
Oh yeah, and yeah. No, I think we were basically done talking about that.
Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil. No, I just meant I want to talk about Daredevil.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody watching, everyone hearing the sound of my voice, whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube, please go watch Daredevil, the Netflix show.
I have to watch it.
It's really good.
And this is the same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Same actor who played Daredevil.
Same in-universe character?
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's the Charlie Cox played Daredevil on the Netflix TV show, on the Defenders TV show, on this TV show, and in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The actor they got to play Kingpin in Hawkeye is the guy who played Kingpin in Daredevil.
Yeah.
I personally haven't watched Daredevil Season 3. I sort of petered out because if you remember, there was like a mass cancellation of all those shows back in the day. but like Daredevil is so good. I think they said Netflix show isn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm not
Oh.
sure where the Netflix shows land.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's very interesting because there's okay. There's real quick. I promise I won't talk about this
Sure.
long. There's 6 Netflix shows.
Mhm.
The 4 main ones are Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and I just forgot. Oh yeah, it's Iron Fist. And then there's the 2 that I call spin-offs. There's one about the Punisher. The Punisher got his own TV show. He was a Daredevil character. And then there's the Defenders, which was all 4 of them. It was Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist all in one show, and
Yeah.
it fucking sucked. It was boring as fuck. The
Marvel Legends figures were so fucking expensive.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they didn't make that many.
They came in a whole set.
They couldn't have made that show worse. Like it had so much potential. The main villain is Sigourney Weaver. Like it was so destined to be so good, and it was just so not good. But here's what's up with the Netflix shows. If you watch She-Hulk and you're like, this Daredevil guy's awesome, I want to watch some Netflix shows, definitely watch Daredevil. I can't sing the praises of Jessica Jones enough. I think it was really good. Luke Cage was fine. Don't watch Iron Fist.
Okay.
The end.
Okay.
And I hear good things about Punisher. I've only seen the first season. It's got the guy from Westworld in it though.
Yeah.
Westworld season 1 dude is in it. Are you okay? My cat is scratching herself, but she's hitting like a thing on a bag and it's making a noise.
He was really cool.
He was. That scene where it's him. You and I have talked about this before, and this scene wasn't necessarily this, but you and I talk about how these characters are superheroes, and very rarely do we see them like actually just fighting crime. There's a
Mhm.
really cool moment in Doctor Strange. It becomes a bigger part of the plot, but where he's just like, well, I was busy, but I gotta go fight crime.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he does. The scene where they're in the frog place, whatever it was called, and they're both like beating up bad guys, but they're doing lawyer talk as they do it. I was like, I don't know if this is a scene directly from the pages of a comic book,
Yeah.
but it feels
Yep.
like that.
No, that was really cool. I don't know why. No, I don't think anybody else was surprised by this, but I was. I don't know why I didn't expect Daredevil to show up. I mean, eventually it got rumored. Everybody was like, "Oh,
Well, he was in the
Daredevil's gonna
trailer.
show up." Oh, well, I honestly I didn't watch any trailers for this stuff. They spoiled him in the trailer. That's kind of shitty.
They teased him. They didn't show his face because the costume is new. The costume in the show was black and red, and now he's doing his yellow and red one. Also, in the episode where he was featured prominently, the entire dynamic of the background music changed when he was the main focus.
Oh, really?
Like
I didn't
when
notice.
he was basically just recreating the hallway scene from Daredevil 1. It didn't just leitmotif his theme song, because it did do that in a pretty direct way when he was like, I'm Daredevil. But it just like you're so used to this music, right, of a TV show, and it's like, oh, this is the Jen fucks up some bad guys music, but it was like different. Oh, are you okay? You come on. Okay, there you go. It was just like different. It was like a completely different sound profile for when Daredevil was like the star of a given scene. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I'll have to pay attention to that. I was like, I found out when they opened the box and his helmet was in there, and I was like, why didn't I think that the other lawyer superhero was going to be in this lawyer superhero show? I'm really glad they got together. 'Cause I was invested in that plot point. I was like, nobody likes Jen, and that sucks. 'Cause she's really cool, and also like they didn't pick. She's pretty. The actress who plays Jen is
she literally
pretty.
just won Sexiest Woman of the Year.
Sure, yeah. I actually got a little like, okay, calm down.
Right,
This
yeah,
woman
yeah,
is very attractive.
Yeah, I was also like, yeah, we're playing the Jen is ugly
Yeah,
card.
there's another old show that's got that card in it that I can't think of. That I'm like, they're not ugly,
Right.
But okay, if we'll pretend like they are,
Right, yeah.
But that's really I was like, she's pretty.
Right.
She's like really good looking. But okay, we'll pretend like she isn't. Actually, I don't think, because they gave She-Hulk they gave She-Hulk like a what Jen probably thinks a attractive woman looks like. But like, if you made She-Hulk like normal human and stuff, I still think the regular Jen is a more attractive. Anyway,
Sure,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. Well, it does matter because like that's not
So
in a social Daredevil, right?
yeah, a little bit of a warning. The Daredevil TV show is very serious and dark.
Yeah, I
it's not
figured.
as witty as this show. And I saw an interview with Charlie Cox, the actor who plays Daredevil, where he was because they're making a new Daredevil TV show called Daredevil Born Again. It's going to be 18 goddamn episodes.
Wow. On Disney Plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they basically, in the interview, he was basically like, because some diehard Daredevil fans were complaining about Daredevil's appearance in She-Hulk because he was a little too,
Not Ben Affleck.
he was a little too like happy. He was just a little too like in the universe of She-Hulk. So he was like a little like wittier, a little more like positive, and I saw an interesting interview with Charlie Cox where he was like, I liked She-Hulk. That was a really cool way to do that character, and it was a really cool experiment, implying that the new Daredevil TV show is going to be more in line with what people expect from an on-screen Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't mind She-Hulk at all. I'm also not a hardcore Daredevil fan.
Sure. I, as somebody very outside of the spectrum, I would go as far as to say he's connecting, he's intermingling with a woman that he's really into. That probably plays an effect where I can only assume in this Daredevil show he might be kind of the solo Daredevil that I know. That's not a lot. Does that make sense? Like maybe
mean
his characteristics are being changed because of the relationship aspect that's kind of forming in his life.
Daredevil season 1 and 2, there's a lot of
There is a lot of it. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
because
Okay.
he this isn't a spoiler. This is from the
I
comics.
assumed
but
he's got some Batman vibes where he's a lone guy, but no. It's sounding.
basically, but he does have a love interest. Her name is Karen Page. She's a normal human.
But
and
this time it's gonna work, Anthony.
and there's also Elektra, if you know that character. They're typically romantically involved, and they sort of do both of those in Daredevil season 1 and 2. Like I said, I never saw season 3. Just know that if you skip Defenders happens between season 2 and season 3. I'm
Okay.
sure it's important for some reason. But I think going off what you said, I think this is the first time, and a lot of people didn't like this because this isn't what Daredevil would do. But I think this is the first time that Daredevil just like let himself go. Like
Yeah.
this woman, I think this woman's hot, and we get along. Let's do it. See you later. Maybe we're gonna be a thing later, but right now it's just sort of a
So
a
that's
one-night
kind of
stand
okay.
thing.
All right, that's kind of where the issues are falling. It's
The-
very out of character for him to do something like that.
Well, a lot of his characteristics were admittedly out of character in She-Hulk. That being said, I don't think I minded.
I thought he was cool.
I thought he was pretty cool. Even I honestly thought it was a breath of fresh air. I think that season 1 of Daredevil gets very like up its own ass about like, but he's dark. And then season 2 there's a lot of lawyering, which I appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Daredevil.
Yeah. The little I know, I like Daredevil too.
Also, the recreation of the old Hulk TV show opening.
Yes, that was really cool.
That was very
That
cool.
was cool.
The whole time I was watching this, I was like, why though? And then it was just a dream. I was like, oh, okay. Then that was just a cool little thing they did. No, they really pulled out all the stops
Yeah.
for the She-Hulk show. I really, truly wish the finale was better. Did the finale being terrible, in my opinion, ruin the entire show? Absolutely not. Do I still love She-Hulk, the character? Yes, I do. And I can't wait for her to... Every time they introduce a new hero, I'm adding them to this image I have in my head of the next end game where it's all of them fighting all
Me
at
too.
once. And now I'm thinking like, wouldn't it be cool to see She-Hulk throw a car at a dude and then Shang-Chi jumps off the car and does some ring shit?
I dig it. I think that has to do it for us
Yes.
on She-Hulk.
Yes.
But if you're watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We've got 2 more podcasts
yes.
coming up.
We're going
This
to
is
talk
a
about
big
video
day.
games next.
Yes.
So We're gonna do an outro real quick for the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. What do we think the next cinematic relief is gonna be on?
Oh man.
I'm actually not quite sure. So
I actually had two other. I rethinking about this, right? I had two other honorable mentions. Maybe one of them could be.
okay.
Dahmer was fucking horrifying.
Okay.
TV show about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
In the Rings of Power, the season just finished.
Okay.
Really good show.
Okay.
I really enjoyed Rings of Power. Not saying either of them has to be the next episode. I wanted to mention them as an
Yeah.
honorable mention. Maybe to get the wheels turning if you have time or wanted to look into those. If not,
Well, I don't think I can watch Rings of Power, right?
Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime. Yeah, I don't have that.
We'll figure it out. Even if that's not what we do next,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. Regardless, though, 2 weeks from now we will have something for you for cinematic
Yeah.
relief. Someone has to call Shang-Chi the Lord of Rings. Yes.
Well, I think the one person who is kooky enough to do that is
Deadpool?
dead.
Oh.
No, because he's Iron Man. Because he literally calls
Yeah,
Hawkeye
would've-
Legolas.
He would have
in
done
Avengers.
that. Yeah. Oh, that would have. All right. Anyways, we're moving on to video games
Yes.
next.
That'll do it for us for the movie podcast. Until next time, I've been Thunder,
I'm Lightning.
and go watch a movie. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to Skit.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.